Today I'm reacting to Frieren episode 3. The next 3 episodes and full reaction are on Patreon. So we keep seeing a boy next to Eren in the OP. I wonder if we're going to meet him in this episode. 27 years. So I loved the first 2 episodes of this show as much as I possibly could. So I'm very excited to see what happens next. She knows full well. Of course she is. Because they've literally known each other years at this point, because so much time goes by. I just love how they bring in elements of comedy very organically to the show. Atade. Gorgeous shot. Oh. Right, but I'm assuming the accessory has some link to the past. God, I just love how the soundtrack is complementing the tone of what's happening right now. But surely Frieren would be able to tell that she's being followed right now. I love the 2 eyes on her face in the background. God, don't you just love the art design here? Like, the entire world just looks beautiful. I did not think we would see a mohawk in this world. Yeah, it has to be a code word when she says sweets. No, those men don't give me a good vibe. It's like, what were you doing? Oh, I spent the whole day stalking you. Because if you spend this much time together, you must know if Frieren was up to something. Yeah, I'm assuming that Frieren knows oh my god, that shot! Oh, I'm in love with some of these shots. Just the way their lights are illuminated with all the red from the sun, it's fabulous. In the highest possible form of complimentary, I mean, this feels like I'm watching a movie. Oh, that looks so yummy. Yeah, well, this is Frieren's whole thing. She wants to learn as much as she can about humans while they're still alive. So she spent that time... Oh! So if this were me, I would just immediately tell Frieren, I'm so sorry I was stalking you today. Fabulous shot. As good as I'm sure the manga for this probably is, I just can't imagine experiencing the story without the production, especially the music. And it's not like black and white can't also be captivating, obviously, but I'd miss the colours so much. It's just so interesting to have a premise of the story constantly be looking back. I meant to say in the last episode, it's very interesting to have the episode title come halfway through the episode. Reminds me of Cowboy Bebop. So the training continues, okay. For me personally, I love the fact that we spent this series thus far looking at who they are as characters and leave the magic secondary. It's a very natural way of getting exposition about how magic operates in this world. Yeah, I'm very curious about, like, what kind of enemies are they going to be coming up against to even use magic? Another Demon King? Who's this guy?
クバールの封印場所ですよね。ご案内します。腐敗の堅牢クバール。80年前にこの地で悪逆の限りを尽くした魔族です。
Another demon.
その封印が近いうちに解けるから討伐しに来たんだけど。
30年ほど前までヒンメル様が毎年のように村に訪れておりました。
相変わらずのお人よしだ。
Interesting, so that they take up the mantle of looking after the seal. But again, like, from her perspective, it doesn't even seem heartless. Oh, just all this lighting during the sunset, it's just absolutely fabulous.
だいぶ不安定になっているね。明日にでも封印を解いて、クバールを片付けよう。
So, what's going to happen in this night of introspection before the fight? Love that animation happening during this little sequence, it's really, really inventive. Of course, when you have a character like Frieren who's lived as long as she has, of course history is going to matter to her. Brilliant shot. I wonder how long she lives for. Love that crackle in the soundtrack. She did well so far.
フリーレン様、これはどういうことですか？あれがゾルトラーク。奴が開発したいわゆる人を殺す魔法だ。お前の魔法は強すぎたんだ。
Oh, okay. Backstory. Let's see what happens.
の魔法使いがわずか数年でゾルトラークは人類の魔法体系に組み込まれ、新しい
So interesting getting all this lore.
ゾルトラークは人を殺す魔法ではなくなった。今では一般攻撃魔法と呼ばれているよ。80年は人間にとって相当長い時間らしい。クバール、おとなしくしていれば楽に殺してやる。
Love the job the voice actor for him is doing, by the way.
防御魔法の弱点に気づかれた。ヘル、対処できるよね。
This is a great test of Fern's ability and seeing how she's going to develop as a character as a result if she wins or loses. Oh! I wasn't expecting that. That animation turning into the lines is brilliant. And then the sun coming in, the dawning of a new day. Brilliant. And peace has been restored. He's hardly his son, is he?
私のスカートめくったクソガキだな。
何やっとんじゃクソガキ
Oh no, he's a kid. Himmel wanted to kill.
おかげでもっと長生きできそうです。ヒンメル様の言葉を信じて待った甲斐がありました。
That's so sweet. Is that... Oh, there's a little bit more. Okay.
フリーレン様。
Love this music coming in. It's amazing.
直接の感謝じゃないよ。
Oh, getting all these stories just about the world and everything in it. I love it so much.
信じていたのだと思いますよ。どうしたのですか？別に。
I love it. I absolutely love it. I absolutely love this show. It's just fantastic. It's just so for me. It's a really fabulous CD as well. So I'm going to keep this review segment short, given that I think I actually covered a lot of what I wanted to say in the reaction. It's funny because I kind of always think to myself, what way am I going to edit this as I'm speaking when filming a reaction? Like, I'm always just constantly second guessing in my head, should I speak on this shot? Should I wait until the next shot to speak? But then if the previous shot was important and I have to tie them together, how will I get past copyright? There's a lot of internal kind of ruminating that I do over it, so I'm really just trying to approach watching the episode to just focus on the episode itself, because I don't want to miss out on anything that could be like crucial for you guys watching the reaction to understand the plot. But at the same time, if you're watching this reaction, you have already seen the story, so what you're looking for is my reaction. If I'm less kind of like anal and kind of mulling over constantly, should I speak now? Should I speak now? Should I speak now? Have I been speaking for too long? Have I been speaking over dialogue? Is that good? Is that bad? Will it work for the editor or not? It's just going to be pointless. So what you're looking for as viewers, as my audience, is just me being interested in the show. And boy, let me tell you, I'm interested in the show. Like, if I could sum up Frieren in one word thus far, it would really just be sublime. That's exactly what the show is. Story-wise, you know, it very much kind of feels like, in a way, it feels like a part 2 to the previous episode, in that, you know, we're getting a little bit more of, we're getting more of Frieren making it very clear to us that the past meant a lot to her, and she's very interested in adhering to the promises she made, both the external and the internal promises within herself. That everything that happened, she seems to be a character that cares extremely deeply about all the things going around, surrounding her. But then there's also going to be areas where she has a blind spot. I mean, I think, I don't know what kind of character, I don't know what kind of person she is. Maybe if this is a thing with elves, if this is just something more particular to Frieren. Maybe if there's a part of her when it comes to interpersonal relationships that she struggles with, and that's where the confusion comes from, because it's like, you know, that idea of spending the last 5 years with Frieren and not really knowing that much about her, but at the same time, she clearly cares about Frieren so much to the point of wanting to surprise her and get her something really, really lovely for her birthday. That just seems to be the type of character that Frieren is. And I love seeing it. I said it within the reaction, but I want to reiterate that it's just so nice to see that the approach they're taking with the writing here isn't to just create large external conflict every single show. Like, everything is the life or death situation where Frieren is hanging on to the edge of the cliff and Frieren is trying to grab her on because I'm going to start caring about the people around me rather than shutting them out. It doesn't take that approach. Instead, it keeps it simple, and it's like, hey, this is a village 80 years ago. I stopped a beast. I don't necessarily have to do this, but I want to do this because this will, just for my own sake, give me a little bit of a sense of closure of missing the type of person that Himmel was. I think, so, you know, it's somewhat akin to like the the dead wife archetype, that I lost my wife years ago and now I'm trying to make the world a better place, but it's done in a way where it doesn't feel hokey, it doesn't feel not necessarily pretentious, but it doesn't feel as though it's trying to like manipulate the audience in that kind of a way. I think that it's very interesting to see. It's always interesting to see a character led by what they need to happen, but to have a character led by what they want to happen when there's no real external stakes for her. That's what makes this show so compelling. It's this idea of, okay, so if we're going down the route where she's not going to be in mortal peril every episode, and not only is she not like this brash, very hot-headed, go-get-'em character, but is someone much more reserved and introspective, and someone who likes to research. It's like, well, how do you make a compelling character drama out of that? Well, you do this. You continue down that rabbit hole, and you allow that to be the foundation for your story creation. How everything is coming from this place of she wants to deal with the past while moving forward without being sedentary, but also trying to honor what has come before her, and is on top of that trying to improve as a person. And if for the story to humble her by making sure that she has flaws and she isn't past scrutiny, but amidst all that to also have her so like, this has got to be one of the most compelling characters I've seen in any show in a very long time. And I know there's going to be some people that think, oh, come on, like, it's not like the most like complex character thing to understand, but it's not about that. It's not because of who she is on the surface that's going to be exceedingly complicated, although I do think that there is a great deal of complexity there. It's how this character interacts with the world and how the story is going to work for the character, and then vice versa as well. Is that it's one thing to have this really introspective story, and it's another thing to have this really complex character, but to be able to successfully do both and not feel as though you're getting these big philosophical, emotional catharsis moments, just, like ham-fisted, just kind of like shoved down your throat, or them just kind of like really hamming it up and playing at your heartstrings. It feels like they made a right balance. And I think, and this is me speculating, and I'm not a screenwriter, so I'm not a professional screenwriter anyway, so I wouldn't be able to give that more of an informed opinion. But I just gotta say, like, my intuition is telling me that this is a story that could have worked had our protagonist gone down the line of following main quests, let's call them. But to have a story instead follow side quests, like, it's like you're taking an even riskier path, because it's like, how do you develop compelling stakes for your characters when there's no true external conflict? But it means then the trade-off is that, well, you have everything coming from who this character is, and plot points don't happen because they just happen to be convenient. It happens for these characters. And fuck it, even when there are maybe times where plot points happen because they're convenient, it feels earned. It feels right, because that's what life is. I mean, it's great when shows avoid the Deus Ex Machina of the good thing happened just for the sake of the good thing happening in the story, because that could be used in a way that's lazy. But at the same time, not everything can be tragic and dour all of the time either, because then that's going to seem unrealistic. So I guess the point I'm trying to make here is that outside of the word sublime, which is how I would sum up the show in one word, I would also maybe use the word balanced, because it's able to be funny, it's able to be quite sad and bittersweet, it's able to have these like large actiony moments, and then moments of like real silence and solitude as well. There's moments where it feels kind of like fast-paced enough relative to this genre, but then other points where it just feels all very kind of like laid back. This sounds like a bit of a strange sentence to put out there, maybe a strange sentiment when you hear it initially, but this seems like an adaptation of a novel rather than a manga. And that is not in any way whatsoever to put down manga as an art form. What I'm trying to say is that when you have a novel, for a novel to be this introspective with characters, like, yeah, you do the internal monologue and like the character thought this, the character thought that, blah, blah, blah. But the truly great, especially kind of like more period piece literature, maybe even like the likes of Bleak House or something like that, it really stands to its own power when it has so much emphasis placed on the world and how the external world, the external world doesn't just cause conflict for the protagonist. The external world causes the moments of learning. It causes the moments of joy. It causes the moments of peace and serenity and wonderment. It's not just like, it's not just for the world to be the setting. The world itself is this intangible bit of the story. And of course, just because a story has really good lore and world building, it doesn't save it if the characters themselves aren't there. And likewise, you can have really, really strong characters, but then it can just feel like, well, the outside world doesn't really mean that much. And that's fine if that's what they're going for. But this is a reason why I was just ranting and raving about Lord of the Rings for 10 minutes in my episode 1 review, because to me, Lord of the Rings, why one of the reasons why it stands as the pinnacle of the high fantasy genre is because it's able to not only create the characters and the world to such a high level of writing, they weave in and out. They complement one another. It doesn't just feel as though the world is there for the character, or the character is there for the world to exist. They feel like these are two living, breathing entities. And then the fact that they happen to weave together and one has a ripple effect to the other and vice versa, that's what just makes it so rich and worth watching and unique and ultimately feeling as though it's tangible. And that is how the character of Frieren feels to me. She feels tangible. I love this anime. I absolutely love this anime. It's going to be another week before I get to watch at least another 2 or 3 episodes of this. Then I'm going to be abroad for a bit, so it'll be another 2 weeks before I even get back to it again. And then there's going to be probably most likely Arcane on top of Dandadan, so I won't be able to watch this show as often as I like. And you know, even numbers wise, I don't know how many people will even end up watching my Frieren reactions, but like, I'm so into this. I am so into this, and hopefully whatever way I end up cutting these reactions will show that, because like I said, it's just to do with copyright. I really can't have a single shot go longer than 8 or 9 seconds, otherwise it will be picked up. I could fade the video at the bits when I start talking, because those are the bits you don't really need to be seeing what's on screen, but I also don't want that to be annoying for you guys either. I like the way I cut at the moment because there is no fading out, so it feels very seamless. But then again, I'm filming these first 3 episodes without having tried to edit one and get past copyright, so I might end up having to fade the episode entirely. I don't know yet, but be that as it may, what I'm trying to get across is just how utterly enthralled I am with Frieren. The introspective character study that doesn't deviate from the benefits and the conventionally the conventions of the genre that allow the genre itself to be so strong, but instead both of them complementing one another. I love it so much. I really, really love it so much. And if you're a big fan of the series, I hope that what I'm saying is giving you a sense of catharsis, because I truly, truly love this anime, and I'm so excited to see more. And I'm so excited there's so many episodes as well. It's not just going to be over by 12, and then I have to wait 3 years to watch even more, and then presumably read the manga in between now and then, because I'm so invested in the characters. Looking at you, Chainsaw Man. Be that as it may, I'm going to leave it there. If you're one of my YouTube subscribers or you're one of my patrons, either way, I want to thank you so much for your support. It's my favorite thing to do, and I look forward to being able to do it for a very long time. So I'm going to leave it there. Arigatou gozaimasu. Thanks for watching.